What's up, plant fans? Today on the In Bloom Plant Show, we're going to be talking about repotting cactus. We'll be working with this San Pedro, who badly needs a new pair of pants. We're going to be talking about when you should repot your cactus, different types of pots you can use, and the advantages and disadvantages of those. We'll be looking at characteristics of a good soil, and we will also be looking at how to take care of your plant after you've repotted it. So let's get started. I'll see you outside. Alright, so here we are at the planting corner. We're going to talk about when you should repot your cactus. So a good general rule is about every 2 to 4 years, but there's also things you can look for that indicate that it's time for a new pot. So one of the things you can look for is roots coming out of the drainage holes at the bottom, meaning that the cactus roots have completely filled the pot and could definitely use some more space to spread out in. So just so you can see what this looks like, here you can pan up and you can see the roots. Here's some kind of coming out of the drainage holes looking for new space. So that's what we saw. And then also you can almost see, if you look in here, that the soil is basically pulling away from the sides. This has been in here forever. We bought it from someone here locally in Tucson, and we don't really know what kind of soil is in there, so I guess we're gonna find out. So let's come on over here. So the first step's going to be taking the cactus out of the pot here. We're basically going to tip it over on its side, and there's no great way to do this. You just want to gently coax your friend out, especially if they've been in here for a while. It might be a little challenging, so I like to, you can just kind of give it a little bit of a massage here, kind of loosen up the soil a tiny bit. And then if you have a hand towel or something like this, this can be really helpful, so you don't spine yourself all over the place. Just give this a grab here, and you can kind of start to tug on it. You can dig in a little bit, and it's just gonna take a little while, but you work slowly. Just kind of, it's almost like squeezing out a Go-Gurt, but just dirt and cactus. There we go. Whoop. So oftentimes it comes out as easily as that, especially in these plastic pots. So you can see it was probably time for a new pot. The cactus is completely filled out. It's just like a perfect shape, and you could just see the crazy amount of roots and systems and things going on underground. So here's a close-up of the cactus roots, and this is really neat. I think what this is mycorrhizae, which is fungus that works symbiotically with the cactus to help it basically mine nutrients out of the soil, and in return the fungus gets sugars, which the cactus makes. So you can just see the little tiny filaments everywhere. Really neat. And another thing is, if you're really having trouble getting your cactus out of the pot, like it's really stuck in there, with a plastic pot like this, it's easy enough to just take some scissors and cut down the sides, like, peel it off like a banana peel. Or if you're in either a ceramic or terracotta pot, especially if it's an inexpensive pot like this, especially with larger cactus, you might have to just break the pot altogether, smash it on a rock, or just be gentle with it, obviously, because you like your plant, but not a bad idea either. And the next step that I like to do is kind of free the roots from all of the old soil. We don't really know what kind of soil this is, and we prefer to use a different kind. So we'll just kind of get in here and gently, because it all is in a balance and everything, but I just kind of use my fingers, basically just start breaking stuff apart, as gently as you can, but you do want to get a lot of this old stuff gone. You'll start to have the roots come out like that, and this may take a while to get it, a lot of it out, and this is a good time. You can use this towel to kind of hold the cactus or manipulate it so you're not poking your hands, you don't end up with bloody fingers everywhere. So it's looking pretty good. It's cool. I always like to see what's going on underneath. Whole different world we don't think about too much. And if you're breaking off roots, you feel like you're doing damage, don't worry too much about it. The cactus will definitely come back and thank you for rehoming it. It's like living in too small of a home. Sometimes you just need to spread out a bit. And we're really making some progress now. It's like picking apart a bunch of sticky spaghetti that you left in the pot for too long. Kind of smells good too. Dirt. So I'm starting to feel pretty good about this. Get in here too. Another thing that I read you can use, I've never tried this myself, but you know those like barbecue skewers, or like the wooden, I don't know, use them for kebabs and things like that. You can take one of those and just kind of go at it, stabbing through, and that is supposed to really help loosen up the dirt. But in this case, I was pretty much fine just with my fingers getting after it. So we're feeling pretty good about this. Kind of give it a one over. It is pretty moist in here still. We haven't watered in a while, but it's winter down here, so things aren't drying out nearly as fast. Cool. Here, gotta get a shot of this root ball. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. This is kind of what I like it to look like when I'm done. Is you can see a lot of the individual roots there. There's still a bit of soil attached. You're not going to get it perfect, and that's just fine. There's plenty of helpful microbes in the soil that you want to keep around anyway. So yeah, let's talk about pots. All right, so what kind of pot should you use? How big of a pot should you use? This cactus was previously potted in plastic, which is really common, especially if you're buying things from nurseries, or pretty much anyone who sells a lot of cactus uses plastic pots. They're cheap, they work pretty well, and they are not permeable to air or water, which is in contrast to a good option, terracotta pot, like clay. It's porous, so and I'm sure you've seen it. You're all plant people out there. When you water a terracotta pot, you can see the water actually seeping through, and that's it filling in all the tiny little air pores, which are microscopic and in here, and it actually helps plants breathe. Roots need oxygen, just like they respire as well, so they need access to oxygen, and terracotta is a great option because oxygen is able to flow through the tiny pores and get to the roots a little bit faster, which is different than ceramic pot that's basically been glazed, so water's not getting through here. Too small. The holes are too small anyway for water to flow through. So the advantage of this is, obviously, if you're into this kind of a style for your plant, this looks a lot nicer, and also you would probably have to water it a little bit less, because you're not getting water loss through the sides and air coming in through the sides. But you're definitely going to want a really well-draining soil if you're using ceramic pots, just to get a little more aeration and everything into the soil. We're going to go with terracotta today. This one, if you want to look at the size, is quite big compared to this original pot. This one's probably about 5 or 6 inches maybe, and this one looks to be about 10. So normally you want to go up 2 inches, maybe even an inch in some cases, but because this was coming from a plastic pot and the roots were just, it was just a giant root ball, we're just going to throw it in this guy. I think it's going to give the cactus plenty of room to grow, and won't be too big for it. So yeah, let's get potting. All right, so if you look at the pot we're going to use, it's got a hole on the bottom, you can see it, which is super important for drainage. If you use pots that you find and you just think, oh, this would be an awesome thing to pot a plant in, it's a good idea to make sure it has a hole or drill a hole, because the water needs to exit out the bottom. Otherwise it just pools and the roots aren't able to get access to oxygen and they will drown just like you would drown underwater. So got a hole in the bottom. We'll come over here. When thinking about the type of soil you want to use, especially for cactus, it's great if it's, we'll do a whole other video on this, but well draining is definitely something you want to look for. So a lot of stuff you might get at the hardware store has a lot of peat in it, and that really holds on to water super well. Very poor at draining, and not ideal for cactus, especially if you're living somewhere that's not, Tucson, Arizona, really hot and sunny here. Cactus could be really prone to rotting just from an excess of water in the pot. So yeah, we use this stuff. It's Tank's Pro Cactus and Succulent Mix. It's basically what it is. It's great. It's just coir, which is coconut husk pieces. So that's all organic matter. Holds onto water. It's like a little sponge basically. So those hold onto water without soaking the plant. And then it's got this mineral called pumice, which you can find at basically any sort of planting store, which that helps with the drainage. So it's really coarse material, which helps with aeration, and we've had great success with it. There's also, people who like to use inorganic soil. We have a couple plants potted in that as well, and that totally has its merits. Again, we'll go through it in a whole other video. But so what I like to do is basically just start filling the pot. You want to get it, if you look at, it's a good idea to grab your plant, the pedro, and kind of look and say, okay, you're going to want it about there. So maybe we'll fill up soil here, and then we'll just kind of lower the cactus in, and then begin filling it around it, so that you don't want your roots to be all squished up like this so much. It's nice if they're just have a lot of space to start with. So just start filling here. And one thing it's good to have, if you have like we don't have this, I'd like to get it soon, but maybe an old wheelbarrow or some kind of like container, you can just put all your soil into that and then just kind of scoop it like a little ice cream right into the bowl there. So let's grab this, start lowering it down. Looking pretty good there. And then I'm just gonna start filling in basically all around the cactus here. Kind of start on one side. It can be a little awkward, but nobody said this is gonna be easy, Didn't sign up for Fun League. This is serious cactus fighting. Competitive. And maybe halfway through, so you don't have to redo it, take the towel off. Oh, that guy is moving. Make sure it's in a position that you're happy with. I think that looks great. So we'll come back here. And I think this cactus has real potential. We're gonna get some really amazing cuttings off of it. These San Pedros tend to go pretty quickly, actually. When they decide to grow, they grow. We went out there, we've gotten maybe like, I don't know, 2.5 feet total of growth in the last 2.5 years or something like that. It's really fun to watch, especially if you're just getting into cactus. These are really lovely ones to start with, just because they're pretty tolerant of like cold temperatures and extra water and stuff like that. They're really resilient, and they grow fast, so you could see results. It's not like sometimes you get a cactus and you think like, it's just hard. You water it once a month, and it just feels like you're not even taking care of your cactus, but that's how you should be taking care of your cactus. But it can just be hard when you're getting into something, not seeing those results. So yeah, these ones are fantastic for that. And just nice to look at too. Really happy, good looking plants. So especially so if you're using more of a coarse soil, it's good to kind of pack it down. See how we're leaning here. It's looking pretty good. All right, so we got our cactus potted. We're looking really good. one thing we really like to do to finish things off after you have the soil is actually put like small gravel or rocks. I don't know, small gravel or rocks on top of the soil, and it just kind of makes everything look really nice, and it also weighs down the soil. This is kind of a really light soil, so it's good to have some weight on there. Windstorm comes by, you don't want your cactus blowing off, and this just adds a little weight, and we'll show you how it looks. It looks amazing. And after you have repotted your cactus, you really don't want to go watering it for a couple weeks. You want to give those roots time to find their new home, meet their new friends, kind of get to know each other in the pot, and then after that, after a couple weeks, maybe give it a water. All right, so come check this out. This is what it looks like when it's done. We got the rocks in here. They look super nice, kind of weighing the soil down. This guy's gonna be all happy, start growing, and yeah. All right, so here's the finished product, repotted San Pedro, looking really happy and ready to continue growing. We hope you learned something about repotting cactus. I definitely did today. So let us know in the comments what you're repotting, or any other comments that you have about cactus or whatever your interests are. Check us out on social media. We are at In Bloom Plant Co. We're on Instagram over there, and our website, inbloomplantco.com. We sell San Pedro cuttings, as well as a ton of other different types of cactus, soaps, candles, just things to make your life a little bit better and happier. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.